Hello, welcome, good evening. Thank you all for being here and for being so punctual. We're going to go ahead and get started. Before we start this evening's superintendent's welcome, we would just like to let families that need translation will follow Ms. Cao for Mandarin translation support.
各位家长您好，欢迎你来参加今天晚上的学区总监欢迎会，还有夏令营的信息会议。如果您需要翻译的话呢，我会坐在那个中间的后面，为您服务。你等一下看着我，我就坐在那个地方。谢谢。
I'll give her a minute so she could go get seated. All right, thank you all for being here. At this time, I'd like to introduce our superintendent, Dr. David Van Osdal.
Thank you, Dr. Mendoza. Well, good evening, everyone. I am David Van Osdal, and I have had the incredible privilege to lead Arcadia Schools as the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and principal of Arcadia High over the last 20 years. And it's been an incredible journey. I can honestly say and look all of you in the eye and say that I am jealous of you, especially the ones that are here with really young children starting in our TK or K, because I have 12-year-old twins right now. Actually, I think I'll move on to, I'll come back to that right here. So I have 12-year-old twins, and that just are going to finish in 2 days their 6th grade year at First Avenue Middle School, and the time has just flown by. And I remember starting elementary at Camino Grove and in TK, and as a father dropping them off in all the gear, you know, all the book bags and lunches and all, and thinking we're going to be here for 7 years at this school, and you couldn't even imagine. And then like a flash, here we are, and they're starting 7th grade next year. And so I really would love to do it all again. I have enjoyed their education and being a part of it that much, and I know you are too in Arcadia. One of the things I know is that everyone has a specific story about being in Arcadia, specifically for our schools. I've never yet in 20 years found a parent that when I said, "What brought you to Arcadia?" they said, "I don't know, we just moved here and then we looked up to see what school district it is, and turns out it's Arcadia," right? There's a reason people are here, and it's because of an incredible tradition of excellence that has been built over 50, 70 years by parents like you that care deeply about education and are committed to a strong education and want to be involved, which in turn allows us to recruit and retain the very best staff you'll find anywhere. And that's just a really great formula. So I have some information about myself up here. The most important thing is it's 33, is it going on 34 years in education. I've enjoyed every day. And I tell everyone that works for me, if I ever wake up and I'm not as passionate to go in today as I was when I started 34 years ago, I won't do it anymore. But I just absolutely have loved every day that I've been in Arcadia. I really miss being Arcadia High School principal. It was an incredible job. Love Arcadia High School. It's a great school. And then being a parent, right? I think, you know, the first teacher we all have is our parent, and I think our kids teach us a lot about parenting and what it means to be an adult. So I wanted to share, most people know what a superintendent does. We're kind of like the CEO of the school district. We, you know, hire the staff, run the school district on a day-to-day basis. But who's responsible for the overall guidance in hiring the superintendent? That is an elected body of 5 people, board members that are elected by you, the citizens. And by the way, if you're new to Arcadia or new to the education system in America, the school systems are separate from the cities, from the government, from the city part of it. So there is a city council that's in charge of the city of Arcadia, the roads, the safety, fire, police, all of that, the municipality stuff. And then there's the school district that's a separate entity. We work very closely together, but we're separate and we have two different elected bodies. So we're very fortunate. The 5 people you see up here, they're just like you. They were parents and continue to be parents that have or had students in our school district for many, many years, all the way up from TK. Their kids are getting older or have left, and they've spent so much time learning about and navigating and having relationships with staff that they want to give back. And so they run and decide to be on the school board and get to be collectively the folks that set the vision for our school district. And so very fortunate tonight that we have one of our board members here with us, Fenton Ing, if you could stand up. Oh, there she is. We also have another board member, Shirley Yee. Shirley, if you could please stand up. Thank you all for being here tonight. So I skipped this, but I don't know about you, but that number up there, and I know that there's difference in people in the crowd. So some of you have kindergartners, I know there's TK, and then some of you have older kids that this is your first time coming to Arcadia, so there's an open. But for the majority, there's a lot of kindergartners in here that are starting with us, and for them, they're the class of 2038. Let that sink in for a moment, right? Now, I've been here already in Arcadia for 20 years, so the seniors that are going to be graduating on Thursday night, well, Wednesday at Rancho, Thursday night Arcadia High School over at Santa Anita Racetrack, I've watched those students come in, just like tonight, as TKers, kindergartners, and have gone all the way through the system. I've watched them matriculate through, so it's been very exciting to watch that. So they will get there. So when I first started doing these presentations, and I'll try to be as brief as possible, it's more of a welcoming, because the most important thing tonight is that you see a face with a name. So when you get a phone call recording from me, or you see a newsletter, or you see me in the hallway or in an event, that you know who I am, and you feel comfortable enough to come up and say hi, because we are a small enough school district that we do that, right? I've seen people, staff, parents come from other districts like, we've never even seen the superintendent, it's so big. Well, we're just big enough to have a lot of good resources in Arcadia, but small enough that we know each other, all right? And we like that. We like to create those relationships, and of course, trusting relationships we depend on. So I thought, what would I want to give myself for advice if I could travel back? If any of you know the Back to the Future movie, that's the DeLorean time machine that they climb in and go back. So what would I want if I could come back from my future and tell myself? So here's some advice. The first one is, it will be over in a flash. Enjoy each moment. And my advice to you to do this simple thing that my wife and I started keeping each other in check on is, when life gets really busy and you start to hear your spouse or yourself say the words, I have to do this, I have to, like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that, I have to go to an open house, or I have to go volunteer in my kid's kindergarten class or a soccer game. Stop for a moment and just switch the vocabulary to, I get to. Because I will tell you, with my 3 adult children now, and with parents that are now empty nesters, the number one thing they'll tell you is they would do anything to hear the footsteps running through the house. They would do anything to have a soccer game to go to. All of those things that in the busiest part of our life, we're just trying to survive and navigate. But it goes by so fast. And so especially for the first time parents of TK kindergartners, please just really enjoy each moment, because it looks like a long time, but it goes by so fast. Another one is, students and adults learn best from healthy struggle. So let them struggle while they have us, the support system. That's you as a parent, us as a school. Problem solving equals self-esteem equals confidence. One of the things I think we struggle today as parents, and I'm in that, right? I'm including myself in that, is there's so many, with technology and the things that we have available to us in life now, And the more knowledge we have, the things that we didn't have when we were kids, we want all of that for our kids. And we want to wrap them up with bubble wrap, and we want to protect them, and we don't want them to ever feel sad, and all of those things, right? And that's just parents being parents. We wake up and we want to be our very best every day. And sometimes that translates to depriving kids of the opportunity to struggle, to fall, to fail. Not when it's a situation where they're going to be injured or bodily harm. I'm just talking about those opportunities where, you know, my son, although he's very responsible, had all weekend to tell me that he needed to order something for Greek Day, some kind of toga outfit, and he didn't do it. I'm not going to do it on Monday morning when he thinks that I should, and it's not going to be there on time now, because natural consequences are sometimes the best teacher in life. And so that's something that's been very difficult for me to understand as a parent, and to allow my children to have that pain at times, but to know that pain is what's causing the growth, and that is what's going to cause them to think next time and be better. Each adult in a student's life is an opportunity to prepare for their future when they will have professors, bosses, and possibly a spouse. A perfect fit is a wonderful thing, and all of you probably have examples from your schooling, whether it was high school, middle school, college, where you had that professor or that teacher that just got you. You understood them. What they thought was important is what you thought was important, and that's a wonderful thing, and you thrive during that environment. And then there's those moments you can go back and probably point to a teacher that was just the headache, like just the struggle. They don't get me, you know, I want to put my name on the upper right-hand corner. They want it on the upper left-hand corner. You know, just all of those different things where it's just not as easy as others. What I've learned and what I would tell myself and what I see now is each of those are equally important lessons in life, because we will all grow up to have bosses and et cetera, that we will need to understand how to accommodate, how to work with, how to adjust ourselves in order to ensure that we can successfully get through that. And so just another good reminder. Be a good partner with school district staff. This is a value we have in Arcadia, and I think this is a lesson in life in general, but it's something that I really stress for our staff and for parents that I work with. The answers and the solutions to whatever challenges are in front of you are best lying with the person that was closest to the problem, right? So if something happens at school in a classroom, the first contact should be with the teacher. Or if you have the ability to talk to the playground instructor, if there's a playground aide, et cetera. It's the person that was closest to it. That does two things. First of all, they have the most knowledge of what actually happened, right? And they have the ability to enter into some kind of solution for you, to figure out what are we going to do, whatever it is that your ask is, and how are we going to solve this. And every issue that you have a conversation with any staff in the school district is an opportunity for a relationship. It's an opportunity to build trust, which truly this is a partnership, right? It's not transactional. School, I believe, is almost one of the last fundamental institutions where we're not transactional, right? You don't just drop your kids off and school happens, right? You're educating your kids at home, and you hope that we're educating your kids here, and that there's some connectivity, some continuity between what's going on, right? And so there's a relationship that has to happen that is for the betterment of our kids when we do that. Get involved. Your child and the school need you, and I'm not just talking to the elementary parents here. So often our kids, and I experience this too, where once they start hitting middle school, they're like, you know, the dreaded, Dad, could you just drop me off around the corner? You know, like, oh, it's like you don't even want to be seen with me anymore. You know, that's how bad it's gotten. So, you know, the fact of the matter is Arcadia is a unique and special place because our parents are involved. That's from participating and volunteering in our classrooms in elementary. That is, moving into middle school, being a part of certain clubs and helping supervise clubs, being in PTA, where you're not only helping your child and enhancing the environment and activities for kids, but for all kids. And it's the best way for you to stay more involved with your child's education, because the more you're involved with school, the more you're in this classrooms, the more you're on campus, and you get to see what's going on. And it's free therapy, because you get to talk to other parents. And I'm going to tell you, when I was in PTA, and I still participate in PTA, sometimes you just think you're the only parent in the world experiencing something. And just to be able to talk to other parents, and they say, yeah, we have the same thing going on in our household. It's like, whew, okay, there's others in this together. So, being involved, and we have so many ways for you to get involved in our schools, but I would encourage you, especially moving into that middle and high, if your kids ask you not to, tell them tough. You're going to do it anyway. It's really important. We need you. So we have PTA. I mentioned that, Parent-Teacher Association. Everyone should be a member. It's only, I think, $7, $8, but more importantly is your time in participating. And that money comes right back to your kids and their activities. AEF is the Arcadia Education Foundation. That, if you've probably heard of our summer school, AEF Summer School, they put on a massive summer school for our middle and high school. And it's just a wonderful program, and we try to do everything to support them. They're just parents like you that are trying to give back. They're not paid, they're just volunteers. We have the Arcadia Performing Arts Foundation. Part of their mission is taking care of this center. How many of you, is this your first time in the Arcadia Performing Arts Center? Yeah. Well, thank you, because your taxpayers' money paid for this place. It's absolutely gorgeous, and let me tell you, for all our kids involved in any of the arts, and for that matter, all kids, because they're in here for all kinds of classroom stuff too, for them to be able to have access, perform behind the scenes, the lights, the board, all of that, on a state-of-the-art place like this facility is unbelievable. And most times they go places, colleges, to work, and the facilities aren't this nice. So thank you for all that you do for our kids. And then at the high school level especially, we have athletic boosters, Chinese parent boosters, Hispanic parent. You name it, we have a place for you to get connected. Now, again, not just to help out the school, but for you to connect and meet other parents. We are a community, and it's important for you to be as connected as your child to our community. We have 5 values that you will see throughout the district. It's on the wall in our district office. That's what this is a shot of. I'm not going to go into details. It's just the important thing to know is we don't just shoot from the hip or, make decisions off the cuff each year about, what do we think this year, next year. Consistency and stability in Arcadia has been part of our foundation. And that's because we have values that have been here for, like I said, over 50 years. When we created these, we didn't just aspire to them. We asked the community, who are we? What are the words, the values that recognize us? When you see it, you say, yes, that's Arcadia. We collaborate. We get everything done through relationships and working together, better together, right? That's just part of being a community. We think critically. We're an educational institution. We're creative. We offer empathy, and we learn from failure. The hardest value, by the way, was to learn from failure. There was a lot of people that said, are we really going to put failure on the wall? Like, that feels weird because we're an excellent school district. And we're like, yes, that's exactly why we have to do it, because we are so used to, in education, having the right answer. Don't raise your hand that's the way we were raised, unless you have the right answer. And, education has come a long way, and we really are encouraging kids with that healthy mental struggle, and it's okay to verbalize what you're thinking. And so that learn from failure is so important for all of us and the adults as well. So we're very proud of these, and you'll hear us talk about them a lot. Teachers will talk about them because they are our shared values, and it's what keeps us together. Our purpose statement is to challenge and inspire students to make a positive and profound impact on their world. That's what we hope for every child that graduates from our high school and comes through our schools. And notice that there's no value statement on that they make X number of dollars, that they're in this career. You know, making a positive, profound impact on your world can be as small as a moment that I was over at, well, it was Methodist Hospital before SC now, visiting someone in the hospital and heard someone playing a violin. And I was like, that's odd. I mean, you don't usually walk down the hallway and hear that. Poked my head in to find out it's one of our high school students sitting bedside next to a patient playing the violin. I had no idea. Later, when I went back, I inquired about what was with that student, what was going on, and she said, this is what I do after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I volunteer. I love playing the violin. This is my way of giving back to the community that takes care of me. Almost brought me to tears. I'm like, that's profound. I mean, that level of empathy and wanting to give back, and then using her talent for that. I could also share that we had a student that was visiting their grandparents in China and was overwhelmed with the amount of medication that their grandparents were taking every day and didn't really have the capacity to figure it out. And he invented a machine that he was able to hook up to Wi-Fi, and as long as he had someone fill the machine with all the pills, he could dispense his grandparents' medication on a daily basis for exactly what they needed using Wi-Fi. I mean, you just go like, wow, right? Profound impact. And both of those equally as important. So we have 11 schools, and some people that are new might not, understand. Sometimes people buy a house and they think it's like a school. It's like, no, we're Baldwin Stock, or, It's like, yeah, you are, and you're part of a unified school district, which is what makes us so powerful, is that we have 6 elementaries funneling into 3 middle schools, and then all to 1 comprehensive high school with an alternative program as well. So here's our 6 elementary schools. And we have 3 middle schools, Dana, First Avenue, and Foothills. And then we have 1 large school, Arcadia High School, and then we have Rancho Learning Center, which is an environment that basically provides a multitude of programs for kids that don't, for whatever reason, need something outside of the traditional form of education. And that could be medically fragile kids. It could be, we've had professional athletes, professional ice skaters. We've had actors that are filming sitcoms at night, and they can't make school during the day, and so they need an alternative program. So you name it, we have the ability to meet kids' needs no matter where they are. Real quick on educational funding, because this could be a whole night I could talk to you, but I need you to understand this. Why, David, do you have your hand out all the time asking for money when this is a public school? Well, this is why. Contrary to what people think, even though you're paying really high property taxes, like really high, that money goes to the Sacramento, it gets grouped up, and then Sacramento redistributes that money. It's like the Robin Hood effect. And so your poorer neighborhoods and school districts get the most money, and your wealthier areas get the least amount of money. So guess what? We get pretty low amount of money, one of the lowest in San Gabriel and one of the lowest in LA County. So for that reason, why is that? They believe that we have the ability to go to our homeowners and ask for money and get that money. So whether you like that system or not, that's the system we're dealt with. And by the way, the parents of Arcadia have been incredibly generous, always have been and continue to be, and it's what makes this place special. So, but just it's always important for me to share that we have to do more with less, and we often do, and so that's a blessing that we do have the support of our community. We have amazing facilities, and this is an example of your giving. Back in 2006, we raised $218 million in a facilities bond that increased your taxes. And then again, just this past year, 2025, Measure AS was on the election ballot, and that passed. And we're beginning This $358 million will get us the next 15 to 20 years. So it's not all for right now, but so that we can continue to keep our facilities updated and state-of-the-art for our students. Your students, especially if you're in kindergarten, TK coming through, are going to see the bulk of this and be able to experience this, be in these new facilities as we go through the years. So that's an incredible thing. But I just want to point that out, that without your support and your help, we wouldn't be able to be in a center like this. So how do you get to know more about Arcadia Schools and what's going on? Because you'll get all kinds of information about your child's classroom and your school, but there's an entire district out there, and especially the high school. It's awesome to stay up with the high school because your child will be there someday. And it's great to know what are the programs, what are the pathways, what are all the experiences they have. We have a student-created magazine called Imagine. If you didn't pick one up on the way in, we ran out of them because we didn't realize so many people were coming. There's a QR code. You're welcome to hit that up and get a digital version. They're always on our website as well. They're incredible articles about just the accomplishments, celebrations of the school district. And again, all student written, created. So please take a look at that. And then you can always follow us. Facebook is a great place. You don't have to comment. You don't, just be an observer. You'll get the feed and kind of see all the incredible. I mean, we just had an anatomy team that traveled to Las Vegas and won the national championship, an incredible competition. 244 teams from, you can clap, I see, so yeah. 244 teams from around the country, and they won first place. In fact, they were so good, it was a timed event. And they finished like a whole minute early, and they're all just standing there, and the people running the event were like, you still have another minute. And they're like, we know, we're done. Like, we nailed it. Everything's perfect. So it was an incredible accomplishment. So, but so much that you can just follow along. So please check us out, Facebook, X, Instagram. And I think that's it. Yeah. So listen, anyone that knows a superintendent, we could talk all night. But I really wanted to just get to know you, share a little bit about the school district, kind of what we value, what we're about. At this point, I know Dr. Mendoza is going to start talking about the details of TK and K Camp. So if you're here with an older child, you can exit at this time, and we won't, we won't blame you and say, look, that person's leaving. This would be the time for you to exit if you have an older student. Feel free to. But if you're here with Kay, about K Camp, TK, she's going to talk all about those details that you really want to know about, how it's going to work, where you're supposed to be, all of that. So for all of you, thank you so much for entrusting your most important thing in life to us in Arcadia Schools. I promise you will be pleased with the world-class education your child's going to get. I know I've been here, like I said, my kids are in the school district, and I believe the greatest perk in my job is that my kids get to be in the school district. So I look forward to talking to you again sometime in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Van Nostal. Can we give him one more round of applause, please? I really appreciate that he takes the time to come to welcome all of you, our newest families, to the district. It means so much, and like he said, it's all about relationships, and so this is that first step in building the relationships in our district. So thank you, Dr. Van Nostal, and thank you to our board members for being here tonight as well. So my name is Andrea Mendoza, and my secretary and I will be overseeing our TK and K Camp programs this summer. So this has our contact information for you to reach out and email us, or you can give us a call in the office if you have any questions. So this is the first year we will be offering a TK Camp program. And so our TK Camp is a 2-week program, and our K Camp is a 3-week program. Both programs do not have school on June 19th, so there will be no school on Thursday, June 19th. We want to make sure our kids remain healthy, so please monitor for any symptoms of illness. Usually if children have a fever or are vomiting, we do recommend that they stay home within 24 hours and are clear of those symptoms before you send them to school. If your child will be absent, please let your teacher know that your child will not be in school for that day. And then if you can also please email Stacy Campa. The purpose of both of our programs is to ease that transition. It's to really build familiarity with the campus, to meet some of the adults at the school sites, to set routines, and to make new friends with the students in those classrooms. For TK, the focus is about play and socialization. And for kindergarten, we're working on the fine motor skills, which is coloring, cutting, gluing, all of those important skills. Before both programs begin, you will receive an email if you haven't already. An email was sent out on May 30th that had your teacher information and your classroom information. If you registered after May 30th, we will send out an email to those families later this week. Please make sure you review all of the contents in the folder. There was a link in that email, so please make sure to review all of the contents in that folder because that has very specific information for your school site. Because we are covering all 6 sites, we can't dive into the details of each individual site, but those letters have all the information that you need for drop-off and pickup and contact information. Please make sure to check your spam folder if you didn't get that email. It's really important that you keep your emails up to date because most of our communication is sent to emails on record in PowerSchool. So this is a list of our transitional kindergarten teachers and their classrooms. So in TK, we have 2 classrooms at every site. Longley Way has 1 classroom. And all of our teachers are Arcadia Unified School District teachers. Many of them are TK teachers and K teachers currently in the school district. And this is a list of our kindergarten teachers. And so we have 1 kindergarten per class because this program now is for any student that didn't participate in TK this year. And so all of our teachers, again, are primary grade teachers. They've either taught TKK or first grade, and they are current teachers in our district. And I'd like to introduce them. We have some of our teachers that are here. They're standing right over there. And they just wanted to come and say hello and meet and greet you. So thank you for being here. So on the first day of school, please be sure to arrive on time. You're welcome to go a little bit earlier because if it is a new campus for you, you want to get time to really just understand the parking situation and where to enter in the gate. So you can allow more time. You can just stand there and be with your child before school starts. This way they get used to the campus a little bit more, but you can go a little earlier that day. There are school maps in that folder that was shared with you, so it does show you exactly where the classrooms are located. In addition, in that folder that was shared with you, there are health forms. So if your child has any type of medications, allergies, any type of health need that you need us to be aware, please make sure you fill out those documents and you return them on the first day of both the TK and the K Camp programs. So for drop-off and pickup, in the welcome letter, it has the specific directions for the drop-off and the pickup for your school site. You can park on the first day and walk your child to class, but please make sure to use the crosswalks and the sidewalks and follow all traffic and safety guidelines. Once the students enter the school and enter their classrooms, we do lock the gates, so it's really important that you get to school on time. Our campus, it is summer hours, so our office staff isn't there. We do have a number that you can call if you are late, but it is appreciated if you can please be there before they lock the gates and school starts. So for K Camp and TK Camp, they do not need to wear uniforms. We just ask that students come in comfortable clothing, that they wear closed-toed shoes. You can have them wear a hat so that they can put a hat on when they're outdoors. for outdoor play. We also recommend labeling all belongings, so make sure that if they have a lunchbox, that's labeled, or their water bottles are labeled. That's helpful. Getting refillable water bottles is usually very helpful as well, and then that way they have their water, especially on those hot days. For our TK program, we are asking all families to make sure that students do have an extra change of clothes. So make sure that you do pack an extra set of clothes for them in their backpack, just in case there are any accidents. So we want to make sure that this way they can help them if needed with anything. That way they have that extra set of clothes there. So for both programs, it's really important to establish routines. We'd like to emphasize the routines listed on this slide because they do have an impact on when school starts. So please make sure to send your child to school regularly. You can talk to them about school, how is school, establishing bedtimes routines. It's really important that students at this age get at least 10 hours of sleep, so making sure they are going to bed early enough and then they're waking up in enough time to have a healthy breakfast before going to school. I'll also show you our website. It's really important. We have our calendars for next year already, so I do recommend that you access those calendars. This way you know when we have early release time, early dismissal times, because that'll help you in scheduling appointments. It'll also help you when you're scheduling vacation times. It's really important to have your child in school. We do miss them when they're not there, so that we hope you can plan any vacations or appointments around our school schedules. So this slide deck, along with the recording of both Dr. Van Osdal's welcome and this information session, will be sent to you via email. And we have links here for each of the websites. I do recommend that you go on the website. You can see when there's going to be the registration days. And during that time, that's when you find out about your child's classroom teacher. You'll find out about signing up for PTA. You get a lot more information about this school, and so it has those days already there for you to go ahead and plan ahead. And then you can look at that website, find out the bout schedule, things like that, okay? Okay, so we are offering transportation and childcare. So at this time, I'd like to invite Gabriel Santos to come up and speak to you a little bit about transportation.
Thank you. My name is Gabriel Santos. I'm the manager of facilities and operational services. So for this summer, for a small fee, we are offering transportation services from Camino Grove TK and K Camp to your daycare, right at school, early learning center. And I know that as parents, having somebody drive your child, somebody new driving your child can be a new experience. So I just want to let you guys know that, you know, our children that ride the school bus, you can rest assured that they're in good hands. Our drivers are among the best in the nation, and that's because California has strict regulations on our California school bus drivers, and they're far superior to some of the other drivers you may find in other states. So that's good to know. In addition to that, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the school bus, children who ride the school bus to school, it's the vehicle is actually the safest vehicle on the road. So it's not among the safest vehicle. The school bus is the safest vehicle on the road. According to the National Highway Transportation studies have shown that children that ride the school bus to school are actually 70% more likely to get to school safer than if they were to ride in their own personal vehicle. So that's just another bonus there on riding the school bus. So with all that being said, we're gonna have a table outside, and if you guys have any questions or want additional information about transportation services, we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Are they here? Okay, and we also have our representatives from Right at School, and then they will come talk to you about their program. And this is Mr. Anthony Davis.
How's everybody doing? You guys all have hungry faces, so I'll be real quick. So I'm with Right at School. We're an after-school program, and we're offering a summer camp program for your kids. So if you want to sign your kid up, we'll be out in the lobby. We have summer camp. We have field trips, so a lot of us are going to be going to the movie theaters. We're going to be doing golf. We're going to be going to the kids museum. So if you want to sign your kid up, we start next week. So we have a whole bunch of positions open for people that want to sign up and be a part of Right at School, okay? All right, thank you, guys. Go eat, okay?
Thank you. All right. So that is all we have for tonight. Our teachers did let me know they too are going to be sending their own personal email to you all, just welcoming you for those first days. So if there aren't any questions, you are free to go. Have dinner if you haven't had dinner already, and we look forward to seeing you on the 9th. Thank you.